the main reason why we are talking here today is that I very strongly believe, ma'am, that success comes in all shapes and sizes.
Correct.
And the major reason why somebody feels unsuccessful is because they don't know how to measure success. Because you don't exactly know what are the exact metrics and what can be considered success. So I very well know, ma'am, that you are a very successful entrepreneur and that you've had a very great journey and you are going to obviously grow the path even furthermore.
Right.
So I want to know, ma'am, what are some morals that you stick by at all times? Ki any decision that you take has to be founded by that. Any foundational morals that you have, ma'am, that you maybe built early on or maybe while developing your business? Any such morals that you have, ma'am?
I don't know if I would call them morals or I don't know principles or just guidelines, sort of. In terms of brand, anything new that we're ever doing, and because I'm a parent myself, it has to follow the philosophy of good for parent, good for baby. So in terms of brand, all of our decisions, any new product launch, marketing, anything, all of that is guided by this principle. We never compromise on
Quality.
that. In terms of general, as a business person, there are 2 to 3 things that I look at. One is how much financial sense doing an activity versus not doing an activity is making sense, because the PNL is very important.
Of course.
Okay. Number 2, why are you building a brand? So for me, it was always about building a brand and creating a legacy. These days, I see a lot of people, they are very wowed by this whole VC
Culture.
the whole, Series A funding, Series B funding, and they're very enamored.
Very true.
ब्रांड बना के बेच देंगे. ब्रांड नहीं, आप सब्जी का ठेला थोड़ी लगा रहे हो कि आप खरीदोगे और बेच दोगे. No, you cannot start like that. So for me especially, that was never the mindset, and we've been bootstrapped. We knew that we would only raise funding when we felt that now the brand needs it. So always brand first, founder later.
Of course, ma'am.
That is one of the philosophies, that's one of the key philosophies. The first one that I mentioned was about everything making financial sense. And the third one is, when you do have the resources, whether it's your own resource or whether it's VC money, as an entrepreneur, always be very mindful of how you're spending it. There is some merit to treating a business like a traditional, जैसे करते थे हमारे fathers और grandfathers ना, business को वैसे ही करना चाहिए.
बिल्कुल मैम.
And one thing I always do as an entrepreneur is, I always say this also, and I practice it in my own life, is not just chase the grand strategies, do the mundane.
Correct.
Sit with your accountant and look at the invoices. Sit with your ops person, go to your warehouse and see how they're packing their materials. These are the things that make a real difference, You could, launch in maybe 10 new stores, or you could launch internationally, or you could be present in 100 cities across the world. If your operations and your backbone is not strong, all of that is going to come crashing down.
Very true, ma'am.
So, if I were to summarize, always, because you're investing your valuable time of your life, always see that every decision that you take has to make financial sense. Number 2, always brand first, founder later. And number 3, balance your role as an entrepreneur between growth and between doing the routine operational stuff, and treat your business as a business and not be enamored by everything that's happening around.
Of course.
Because that is not going to help. What you do on your table and with your team is what is going to help. So, yeah.
Very true, ma'am. And ma'am, I am so happy that you said your last point. Actually, the thing is, ma'am, that whenever anybody talks to me about why I am building a podcast or what exactly is my theme, so I always tell them this specific statement that you just said now in a different way, that this way of the Indian business is very different from what the current structure is going towards.
Yes.
जो धंधे का जो concept है, it is very lean business in India.
Yes.
We have usually not been the kind of a loss making converting business.
Yes.
जैसे usually concept जो होता है ना कि we'll firstly take up a loss to acquire the customers, then we'll build profit. ये इंडिया का common logic ही नहीं था. India is कि आप पहले ठेला लगाओ, You start by a small shop, you first start selling, and after you get some money you scale.
Yes.
So that scale of traditional business is so lost right now.
Yes.
That I talk to so many people and they are mostly like, firstly we'll need a co-founder. If I ever ask na, what kind of, how do you want to build a company, so they'll always say, first I'll need a co-founder, then I'll need an investor, then we'll raise a pre-series. I usually ask, what is the reason? Matlab, is there something that you can't learn, that why you need a co-founder? Because today people really feel that everything needs to be outsourced. लर्निंग जो लॉजिक है ना, वो इवन आई फील इज रिड्यूस्ड बाय लॉट, कि अगर टेक, जैसे अभी सबको लगता है कि टेक में बहुत पैसा है, तो एवरीबडी वांट्स टू गेट अ फाउंडर दैट इज मे बी डन इन टेक समवेयर, एक इन्वेस्टर मिल जाएगा एंड दे विल स्टार्ट अ स्टार्टअप एंड उसमें पहले लॉस मेकिंग मार्केटिंग कर लेंगे. तो what you said is so right, that people have actually forgotten how the traditional business is to be done.